Certainly, that's not the kind of defensive performance you guys are known for. Give Monroe some credit. They made some plays. Evans is a heck of a quarterback and made some really good throws along the way. What are the lessons you take away from Saturday that you try to apply going forward just to get better?
Just don't give up big plays. I mean, they lead the conference in big plays, and they continue to lead the conference in big plays. So they got explosive players and a quarterback that can run. And anytime you got a quarterback that's athletic enough to run around, but yet still make all the throws, then it puts a lot of pressure on you. So you just can't give up big plays.
So then, fast forwarding to Thursday, you've got another quarterback who can throw. Now, some differences. Shy Wirtz is not a big, you're trying to get him down, he breaks the tackles kind of guy. He's an elusive guy. He's hard to get a hold of, but he'll go down. The other thing is he's not the thrower that Evans is. So in terms of the way you guys are looking at defending Southern from the back end this week, there's a lot of pressure on your guys, especially the safeties. You've got to be able to process those read assignments. You got to be able to process, oh my God, here comes the pass. There's a lot to do back there this week. Talk about, the challenge of playing against a mobile, maybe not terribly accurate quarterback, but one that can hurt you with his legs still, and then trying to make those quick reads between run and pass.
Yeah, and I think, a lot of times when you play an option team, you think you play a quarterback that's not a great passer, but this past week he was 22 of 28, so he's connecting, so he's as dangerous with his arm as he is his feet. Now, no mistake about it, he's lightning in a bottle, running the ball. I mean, he is super explosive, can make you miss. Sometimes their best plays are drop back pass when he pulls it and runs it, but he is accurate with his arm. He gets the ball out quick, he sprints out, gets him on the perimeter, so he's got the run pass option. So he's a tremendous player, great skill set, and throws the ball a lot better than probably you would normally think. Oh, we're playing an option team. He's an option guy, he's an athlete, but yet he's not a good passer. And yet he was 22 of 28 this past Saturday and had a good day.
So, what are the things that you're trying to really help zero your guys in on at safety? Because they are the guys that are going to be facing the offense. They're going to be able to see what's happening in front of them, and they've got to diagnose some stuff pretty quickly. So what are the real important keys that you try to get them focused on for a game like this?
Biggest thing is your eyes. You got to be disciplined with your eyes pre-snap, but then if my eyes have to move because of emotion or anything like that, then you got to be able to move your eyes, and it's all about move your eyes before your feet. We've used the saying this week, don't go to your know, because if you think you saw something and react to what you think you saw, then if you're wrong, you're big time wrong. And that's the thing with playing an option team is this you got to diagnose a lot. There's a lot of moving parts. You got to stop. You got to stop the dive, the quarterback, and the pitch. So you got to stop 3 plays in every snap, and then, oh, by the way, they do throw play action pass off of it. So it's a huge challenge. You got to have great eye control. The way they block on the perimeter, like every option team, they're throwing and cutting, and throwing at your legs, and so you got to be able to defeat those cut blocks and stay alive, stay on your feet, because you're no good to anybody on the ground. So big challenge, a lot of stuff going on, but the guys have had 2 really good days of practice, and so kind of proud of where they are right now, going into these next 2 days.
You mentioned the dive. That one of the things last year that I noticed was they went to that new offense. They're still running an option, but they kind of took that dive threat away. And it felt like, hey, you know what? You just freed a linebacker up from not having to read or think about that dive. They've put it back in now. What does the threat of that, quick hitting kind of A-B gap type of run, that's got to really stress the defense a lot more, having to keep up with that particular play, because it kind of keeps your linebackers inside and they can't all flow to the pitch man the way they normally would. How do you guys adjust to handling the pitch, realizing that your linebackers got to stay true to that dive?
Yeah, it's everybody playing their assignment. Whether it's a defensive lineman or an inside backer or an outside backer or even dropping a safety into the box, whatever it may be. If you're responsible for the dive, then take care of the dive. If it's not handed, then worry about the next part, but there's other people assigned to the next part, and so if I'm a dive player, I don't need to care. I don't even care who's, if the ball gets pitched, because that has nothing to do with me. And that's where guys have to understand their fit, their responsibility, and doing their jobs, as opposed to I'm the dive player, but I'm trying to go out there and help on the pitch. You got no business on the pitch. Same thing. If I'm a pitch player, I'm not looking at that dive to see if it's handed or not, because if I'm looking at it and it's pulled and pitched, I'm out leveraged. So it's all about eye control and leveraging your responsibility is the biggest key.
One of the things I also noticed about this team, listen, it all ends up being a triple option at the end of the day. The play ends up running that way, but they're lining up in a lot of different types of alignments. That they'll set up with a couple of wings. They might come at a kind of a power look. They might split the backs. It all still ends up being dive, read, pitch, but they're coming from different places and guys are moving in different directions. How does that kind of thing, really kind of stress the defense in terms of seeing where everybody's lined up and then watching the way they move, even if they end up doing the same thing play after play?
Yeah, it's always stress because different formations, different moving parts, so it's a matter of you got to develop a set of rules that the guys can hang their hat on, because you can't have a set of rules for every single formation. So you got to group stuff together and try to put them into different buckets and give them a set of rules based on whatever bucket it falls into. And then as long as you can be consistent and not have 70 different rules for 70 different formations or motions, then guys can play fast. And that's what our job is as coaches, is to figure out how many buckets we need and to keep it to as few buckets as possible, so that the guys can have a lot of carryover from one thing to the next. Just because they change the motion or change the formation, it still falls within this bucket of rules. And so eye control, play fast.